Section 6.4, Proving Triangles Similar by AA. So our one big postulate for this section is postulate 22, which is the angle-angle or AA similarity postulate. This postulate tells us that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the two triangles are similar. What we see is if we have two triangles, such that, there we go, we have triangle A, B, C, and X, Y, Z, such that A is congruent to X and C is congruent to Y, then triangle ABC must be similar to triangle XZY. The reason for that is we already know if we have two triangles in one triangle congruent to two triangles in another, then their third angles must be congruent. And that's our third angle theorem. Then, if we have two figures such that all their corresponding angles are congruent, by definition the triangles are similar. And this is how the angle-angle similarity postulate works. Essentially, we only need to show two angles congruent because we would already know by the third angle theorem that the third angles are congruent. Well, let's apply this with a problem. But first, some things you might want to take note of. This is our first section in this chapter that has proofs. We'll go over more proofs in the next section, in section 6.5. Some common reasons you're going to use in these proofs are the reflexive property of angles. They'll also use postulates and theorems about parallel lines, which means go back and review those if you need to. Those are theorems that tells us if we have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are congruent. And that's our alternate interior angle theorem. Or the AIA theorem. That is going to be a very popular proof. Corresponding angle postulate will also be popular. You will need to use the triangle sum theorem as well as the linear pair postulate. Please make sure that you have these common reasons in your notes and that you know what each of them are going to look like. Some examples will help with that. Example 1. We want to prove triangle ABE similar to triangle ACD. Well, since this is the first similarity proof, and since we only know how to prove using the angle-angle postulate, we'll write this as the angle-angle similarity postulate. That means we're going to have to find two angles that are congruent. We're given B and C being congruent. Take a moment, pause the video, try to work this proof out on your own. When you're ready, resume the video and check your solution. We have our statements and we have our reasons. We know angle B is congruent to angle C. Actually, what we should write is that the measure of angle B equals 52 degrees, measure of angle C equals 52 degrees, and that's given. We then know that angle B is congruent to angle C, and that is the definition of congruent angles. Now I want to take a moment, look at these triangles. You have triangle ABE, you have triangle ACD. They share angle A, meaning angle A is congruent to angle A, which is the reflexive property.